Can you tell us the warning you have for leaf peepers again this season?
So it's not really a warning, it's just a little advice when they come up. We want them to come up and enjoy the foliage. It's a great time of year to come to New Hampshire to see the White Mountains, but we want people that are coming up to hike or to enjoy the outdoors and get the real experience to be prepared. So being prepared would include bringing a light with you, some extra clothing, some good liquids to if you're going to hike so that you don't get dehydrated, and just taking a little time, do a little research on our website to look at the 10 essential items to hike with, and please include those on your pack. And they can expect crowds. Last weekend was a very busy weekend, and I expect this next one to be the same, if not more. So expect that when they come up.
Right. And do people who are novice or what have you, do you have to have a little experience to be hiking the mountains, or is it just depending on the trail?
Yeah, so it's if you take on some of these more, as I refer to them, epic hikes where you're going above tree line, certainly give some thought to your physical capabilities. Do a little research on how difficult it is, because people exceed their physical capabilities sometimes on some of these hikes. They're not as easy as people think, and there's a lot of great reference material to tell you how difficult they are and how to properly prepare. And so we encourage people to look into that before coming up. Some of these shorter ones, like the Artist Bluff Trail, which is really kind of quick, that takes you up overlooking Franconia Notch, that's pretty easy to do. It's light hiking for most anyone to do. But when you get up to Mount Lafayette and Mount Eisenhower, some of these above tree line, you really got to do your research and be prepared to do those safely and return safely.
Right. Can you tell us about the driving conditions and people pulling over all over the place?
So it's full. I mean, last weekend in Franconia Notch, it was stop and go traffic. And unfortunately, that's the only route through the Notch. So everyone's on it. So you should plan accordingly. Either leave early, or if you don't mind being in that kind of traffic, just plan that your day is going to be extended a bit because of the traffic. So I don't know of any way to avoid it if you go into the White Mountains. Right now, the White Mountains are probably arguably the prettiest place in New England, and so everyone wants to get there just like you do to see it. So you need to understand that. And what I've seen is northbound traffic on Friday night and Saturday morning is very full. Southbound traffic on Sunday is the same going in the other direction. So try to work around that, either traveling really early or really late to miss those high traffic lines.
And what about people pulling over to the side in random spots?
So yeah, that's really dangerous, Chris, because people will unexpectedly veer off the highway because they suddenly see a picture that they all want to get. And we want you to get your pictures, but we want you to use some common sense. People got to pay really good attention. There's a lot of accidents that occur from people suddenly changing lanes or deciding all of a sudden to stop when traffic is moving. So use turn signals, use some common sense. You can always turn around and come back if you miss that perfect shot, and get to a safe place to get off the highway, so you're not impeding traffic. In the Notch, it's in fact illegal now. They've made it a violation if you in fact pull over on the side of the road, because we've had so many problems with that. So you can't do that there. If you want to get a picture, you got to find a place to park in one of the designated parking lots, and then walk to get that photo. So, but on the open highway or the interstate system, you really got to be careful of that.
Great. And can you tell us about um, what was I going to say about that rescue? When you rescue someone, you're charging people for that. How does that all work?
So the only time that we do that, we do 180 or more missions a year. We average that. That's pretty consistent. We are allowed to bill, the legislature has mandated that we bill people that are deemed negligent or reckless. We do about 12 of those every year. So we don't do it a lot. It has to be pretty extreme circumstances. But if someone were to come up and be completely irresponsible to try and hike above tree line with improper shoes or no gear, or in bad weather when it's been predicted it to be bad, you can expect to pay a bill for the recovery cost of that search. Again, we don't do it often. I think we use it more to advertise, to try and prevent that kind of activity from happening. And it doesn't apply to people who are well prepared and slip and twist their ankle. Those are not irresponsible hikers. We're looking for people that really create a situation that puts us all in danger unnecessarily. Those are the ones that receive a bill.
And how much does that bill run? Just does it depend on hours or the
It
flat?
does. It depends on a lot of different things. So they can run as low as $1,500, and I've seen them go as high as $50,000, depending on the resources and the time. And
Wow.
it's literally a recoup of the expense to find you and bring you back safely. So that could be as little as a couple officers' time, and it could be as great as paying for a helicopter at an hourly wage. So it makes sense to be prepared and avoid all of that. It's very easy to do. We promote Hike Safe cards. That helps prevent that. If you contribute to the Hike Safe program, you are more likely not to ever be billed. So we encourage people to do that if you're coming up. It's a cheap insurance card if you're coming up to hike.
And what is the Hike Safe
So the
program?
Hike Safe card can be purchased for $25 per person or $35, I believe it is, for a family. And it basically allows people to contribute to the search and rescue fund, which would exempt them from being billed
I
unless
see.
they were incredibly reckless. I've never billed anyone that has been in possession of a Hike Safe card at this point. So it's pretty cheap insurance to get up here and be sure that you're going to be rescued at no cost.
And is it good for life or is it a
It,
yearly thing?
no, it's an annual thing. Yeah, it'd be good for annual. If you buy the family one, that's good for you and your minor children and your spouse, and now domestic partner. So we changed it last year to cover all of that. So it's a good investment.
Can you go, I know you had the first part about all the supplies you needed. I know you were kind of got stopped on the water part. Could you maybe say that part again about all the things you should bring and because that was
Sure. So the 10 essential items include a number of things. Things like map, compass, something to start a fire with, rain gear, small first aid kit, heavier clothing or layered clothing so that you can change or put on more clothing when you get above tree line. We always recommend water and food, although with food, it's more important to carry things that provide high energy like candy, sweet things or things that have high levels of sugar. Or some of the granola products that are made to give you energy out in the wild. But what we see in water, I always tell people to bring double what you think you might need. So if you're going to go on a hike, you want to have 12 or 14 ounces at least of water with you to rehydrate, because dehydration, lack of lights, lack of extra clothing are the three major causes of rescues. And wherever you happen to be when you contact someone for help, for a rescue, however long it took you to get there, it's going to take us that amount of time to get there to get you. So you got to have a plan. And so that extra equipment and gear is very important for that.
all right. Is there anything you think I missed or you want to add?
No, we don't want to scare people off. We want them to come up here and have a great time. Just, think about what you're going to do while you're up here and prepare accordingly. Take nothing for granted. The weather up here can change as it can anywhere, especially on these summits quickly. And we're right on the edge of winter, late fall and winter above tree lines. So you can get snow at any time now above tree lines. So people need to be ready for that.
All right, Colonel, appreciate it.